And that was another episode of Thank Ghost It's Monday. I'm here with Sally and Kim, the original Mudbutts.
Ow! Yippee!
Now, for those of you who don't know, it's 33. We were doing math off camera,
were doing math.
so it's rough. But
Not my specialty.
33 years of of really high quality, creative. I don't even know entirely how to describe it. Explorative children's theater. It's you two, and then Mike Stasek,
yes,
who is a puppeteer and makes these giant sort of paper mache puppets.
He's a sculptor.
A sculptor.
I mean, I wouldn't call him a puppeteer,
That's
but
right.
He makes puppets, he makes masks, he also makes
Paper
mache
magic.
magic sculpture.
He's a sculptor, and then you guys just pull him into the gutter and make him do
We pull him into the paper mache gutter.
The paper mache gutter.
And he's a master.
That's
He
right.
is.
And it really is, this stuff that you're doing, it's kind of like, I would describe, if anybody knows like bread and puppet or those kind of things, so you have these kind of big paper mache things that are part of the show, and then the shows are all original, right?
Well, I think we make them original. We adapt stories. Sometimes we draw it fully out of the kids. Sometimes we take a story and we adapt it.
In the early days, when we were young tykes.
Yeah, when you were tykes.
We started from scratch. Staying up all night was easy then. And a lot of the material just came from brainstorming and improvisation, and we'd actually write the script as we worked with the kids. And now we've evolved to the point where we prepare more in advance and then still do the improv and the exploration with the kids. So whatever we come up with, they get a big layer of their ideas.
And then you layer in
on it.
Music too.
Yes.
Live music is always part, and dance.
Yep.
Because you are a dancer.
Yes.
Well, I do dance, theater, music.
Yep.
So Sally and I direct the show together, and we both, I think that's why we've been a magnet, because we both like to dip into all of the disciplines. And that's what we like to sort of infuse the young performers with. It's the performer that we're interested in, and taking all those performers on a ride together. So we're collaborative with those young performers. It's not like kids and us. And I think that's what has kept me interested all these years, is those young, incredible performers.
And you do this work too. You do this work in San Francisco as well, with dance theater and those kind of things.
I have a Tiffany Dance Theater in San Francisco for 22 years.
That's amazing.
Double numbers.
Double numbers.
It's difficult to explain. I mean, I myself am an artist, and I do some work with Telluride Theater, and I have to say it's difficult to explain to the outside world, or people who might see theater but not necessarily make it, how much of an accomplishment it is to do decades. Decades in the theater, much less multiple decades. You know?
I have to say, a lot of what keeps drawing us back in, I mean, we love the work and the creative energy, but it's the community that's been formed, the kids and then their siblings, and we've now had children of some of the original Mudbutts in our company. And
we have Wendy Brooks' grandchildren.
Yeah, so we have two of her grandchildren this year. Wendy
Brooks being the founder of the Academy.
Yeah,
Right.
and Wendy is really a visionary, and she's the one who said yes to this kooky idea 33 years ago, and then she added to it, I think 10 years into it or something, the idea of the Mudbutt international trips to do theater abroad with other kids in
so talk to
other
me
places.
about those, because what you're doing right now in Telluride is creating this big, interactive, beautiful show, which I'll ask you about in just a second for this year. But you also take these guys internationally, and you go all over the globe, and you usually are doing work that is in the language of wherever you've gone, in the native language.
It's in two languages. Because
Okay.
quite often, wherever we go, they want their kids to get some English skills, so we double cast, which is a beast.
Crazy.
When we can, not every single part. We work with translators depending on where we are. Some places it's harder than others because the translator doesn't show up, or there's a flood, or
Or where are we
just
working?
all that sort of lost in translation stuff that happens when you're doing international travel. But
It's super
back to what I
rewarding.
was saying is just the friendships that have been made with not just kids and kids abroad, and our kids, but in Telluride and the families that come in. It's like it's turned into this giant family. We've gotten to know parents. We've gotten to know
grandparents,
it's
parents,
just
kids that have
such
kids.
a gift.
Well, I think when I was starting as a young theater lad, I went to school, right, and then I went to New York shortly after, and I remember being in New York. And it's not to say you can't find this in a larger city, but a lot of it is about the commerce of what you're gonna, I was an actor and those kind of things. And I remember very distinctly because I had a couple of apprenticeships in these theaters that had companies, and I remember very distinctly going, being in New York and doing a show with a couple of the folks from that company, and it was very family oriented, and we sort of created this thing and this story, and then we ended up going out of the city even to do it up in Poughkeepsie in this like old church, and all the townspeople and the college kids came, and I remember thinking, oh, this is what I want to do.
So
I think that like there's something to the art, right, that where it creates that kind of family.
Yes. And Telluride's unique. It's not just a small town where there's not coming and going. So here we get a mixture of local kids and kids from other places, and then it just starts, it's like a weaving, and then you add the international thing, and it just becomes a real mixed up, interesting group of people.
Mm-hmm. We've really seen for 33 years how town has changed.
Yes.
And then who has stuck around here that we still know, and then who has come in that's become a part of the community, and then how are we sort of this constant, that sort of the locals can hold on to in some way. Like I feel like this year we have more local students. It's sort of recreating itself over and over again. Mm-hmm.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
Well, we've had great people work with us, including you.
Yes, I was a mud for a couple of years.
But, we've had collaborators. John Fago was with us for like the first 10 years, and then Mike came into it sort of 3 years in. We've worked with all different kinds of visiting artists.
Pamela, Zolene.
Yeah, we're going to forget to mention somebody, but Clay Froman has been working with us now for quite a while. Pam Zolene has been a steady collaborator all these years. And she and John Fago, sort of at the beginnings, brought in a lot of world issues and characters that we'd throw at the kids. And so there was all this learning going on in the process of finding what our story was. And so that's been exciting. It's actually given us a platform to talk about global issues and local issues with kids. Yeah. And they know that age group from 10 to 13, they know a lot. They're like sponges. And it feels like they even are more kind of onto things now as the world has become more internet-y.
Totally.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but...
Well, I think it's the day-to-day process that really stimulates us. It's not just the end goal of the show. Mm-hmm. That's what's sort of exciting every day, how we get the information out and then they come back at us with what they have in their brains, their bodies.
I mean, just talking to kids about just being like, imagine something that you always get way more than you're asking
ready.
for.
They're so ready.
And in theater, that works, right? And that's hard because actually a lot of kids don't have that experience in their schooling. They might have a really creative school or wonderful teachers or those kind of things, but just being able to because it's scary. Because it's chaotic sometimes and those kind of things. So, so I probably could do an entire show with just you two talking about theater.
Talking about chaos.
Yeah, and chaos. That's right.
The beauty of
chaos. Of chaos.
But I want to know about this year's show, which is unfortunately the final show.
No, that's not.
For
it's
you
not.
Two, right?
But unfortunately,
we're evolving.
We're evolving. We're
transforming.
What do you call it? Rewiring.
Sure.
To borrow Bearable's expression.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not a funeral.
Okay.
It's a celebration.
Obviously.
And
nobody's retiring.
We chose we're rewiring. See, that's Bearable's thing. But we chose a big, fun, elaborate piece. We're going to explore Arabian Nights. We don't have a title yet.
We're doing an adaptation of the Arabian Nights.
Yes, it's like Arabian Nights will be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Telluride will also be in
It's
there.
got a lot of the story.
Okay.
And then how
a lot of the stories.
Yes, the stories.
Because we can't do 1001 stories, but
we could try.
Like 998.
We'd have you do that as a solo.
Oh, no. No, thank you.
I'll tell you, though, working with kids, you feel like you're in 1001 stories because each kid comes every day with their energy and their story.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a dance.
So when is it happening?
Oh, yeah.
It's August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Palm Theater.
Okay.
On the first two nights are 6 p.m. and the Saturday show is 5:30 p.m.
Because after the Saturday show, instead of having the auction, the fabulous prop auction where you can just get the most beautiful things, at the Palm, it's actually going to be at the transfer warehouse. There's going to be a big celebration party there.
Amazing.
So that's going to be cast party and kind of mud butt celebration.
That's great.
So,
well, I hope you guys feel amazing about what you've done here.
we do, and it's emotional. The evolution.
We're not going to cry.
We're not going to cry. But to do that, I think for this community is inspiring. Both to like, I mean, you guys even predate the theater that we're in right now, and like, I think it's inspiring to have theater as part of kids' lives. But I think it's moreover, this live place that we live is really ripe for that, and it's amazing that you guys have brought that for so long and so consistently.
Well, it's been great, and we were actually the first theater production that happened in the Palm. The Palm Theater was still being painted. They'd come in, the construction guys would come and say, sorry guys, we need to like seal the stage or whatever. Do you mind working outside today? And we're like, well, it's raining, but okay. Yeah. And that year we did Alice in Pieces. We did Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. And that story is so convoluted and trippy anyway that year was just like we were actually in the rabbit hole.
Such a huge stage.
Trying to figure it out.
But we've been all over. We're at Opera House. We've been at the Nugget. We've been outside.
Yeah.
Oh, you did Alice that year too?
Oh, up in
not that year.
I saw it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we wrote our own thing, but you always go down the rabbit hole.
You can't avoid it.
All right, listen.
There's lots of rabbit holes everywhere.
Do we have to wrap it up?
We do have to wrap it up. Unfortunately, please come.
What else do you need to know?
I want you to say one more time. Come and see the untitled work about
exploration of Arabian Nights.
If you haven't seen the Mudbutts, you have to see.
You gotta come.
You have to see the Mudbutts. And I didn't even ask you why you're called the Mudbutts, but if you see Sally or Kim, please ask them. There's a story behind it, or anybody. Everybody knows the mythology in this town.
Yesterday we got muddy butts.
Very muddy butts.
You can ask about that. So it's at the Palm Theater, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday and Friday the shows are at 6. Saturday the show's at 5:30, followed by a celebration.
There you go. Sally Davis, Kim Epifano, the not present Mike Stasek.
Coming in tomorrow.
Yes, and a variety of other people have put this together. Thank you so much, guys, for being
here. It's a Telluride Academy production, by the way.
Oh, yes, Telluride Academy.
So if you have any questions, call them.
And the Telluride Academy. Thanks a lot, guys.
Ciao.
Bye. Stay muddy.